It is Parallel Frequencies. I am just Blane. That's Coco. And you are the freaks out there. And let me tell you, we love the freaks. Am I right, Coco?
Yeah, of course.
And they came in strong and hot last night about our Iggy. As you can see me wearing the Iggy and the Stooges shirt right now, if you're watching this on YouTube. But they did. They came in and they were watching it and talking about the Coachella stuff. And I'm telling you right now, I literally just got a text from my buddy, super producer Alex, Jim Rome's producer, for those of you out there who listen to sports. Jim Rome's nationally known, world known. But he even texted me, he's like, hey, where's this 9 Inch Noise set from Coachella? So it's weird to me that everybody's talking about Coachella, because it's not always like this.
I never know when it's happening.
Well, they pulled down the 9 Inch Noise. It's been moved to private. But if you want to see these performances, I'm telling you right now, you get another chance this weekend. Right there on Coachella's official YouTube channel. Go watch these performances. Incredible. We did Sinners yesterday. There's lots of good stuff going on. And we did Sinners on Movie Monday.
Yep.
And I love that movie.
This really cool video come up about, and I want to do a little bit more deep dive into it because it sounded really interesting, but about the voodoo magic that Annie was doing in the Sinners movie. You know, we kind of talked about her being a witch and having all of this knowledge and bringing that to the table when she was really the real hero of this movie, I think. But I found it really fascinating that, like, what we consider voodoo dolls, that, you know, a lot of people think it's a doll that you make to look like a person and you stick pins in it where you want to harm them. And that's kind of the stereotype we've all heard about. In fact, it was a healing data record keeping strategy. So when a medicine woman or, medicine man who had knowledge of healing and herbs and remedies, they would come to him or her and they would create a doll to look like the patient. And, you know, this was like during slavery times, they didn't know how to read and write. So in order to keep track of what they had treated, like they come in for a headache or something, they would stick a pin in the head, make a doll look like them,
okay,
and then stick a pin in the head and then give them the remedy or treatment and then keep the doll on their shelf so that the next time they came in, they were like, oh, I noticed we treated you for a headache last time you were here. How is that going? Did it help? And it was just their record keeping strategies. I mean, it makes sense when you really think about it. That's how they kept track of who they treated, what they gave them. I mean, this is just
fascinating. So what happened after that? People took that and ran with it and said, it never stopped. My head never stopped hurting and only continued. And they saw the pin in the head. Yeah, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here of voodoo dolls.
Yeah.
And
how that got
and what we're actually doing with
people, and it really unfair to people who were just doing healing work.
Yeah. You know what? I got a doll right here that's in a box. I've been kind of waiting to open it. Lindsay always gets me these little knickknacks, right? Mm-hmm. This fun stuff. And here's a Terrifier, Art the Clown, a random, it's one of these random. Which one would we want to get out of this if we open this?
I like the one that's dancing.
I like this one here with the sunglasses. Yeah, the dancing. Oh, I like the dancing one too. I think we should open this right now since we're talking about dolls.
Right, let's do it.
Let me see. Let's see which one we get in here. But I love this kind of stuff, and she always gets me. I mean, half the stuff you ever see behind me is from her. All the game stuff, all the Funko Pops. Maybe not the baseball cards. She's not too crazy about buying me baseball cards, but anything else though, absolutely. So let's see which one we get in here. And I'm a sucker for the random stuff, like the not knowing what you're gonna get, the mystery boxes. Oh my gosh!
It's all about the dopamine hit, baby.
Oh my gosh! And look how long this damn bag is. Now let me reach down in here and see what we got. Oh, you're kidding me! Which one did I say I wanted?
Sunglasses.
Ow! I got him. Look at that! Look at him. Art the Clown with his sunflower sunglasses. We're gonna put him right back here with the Labubu. I hope they don't get to fight, and that'd be wild. I love those kinds of things.
When the lights turn off and you're asleep.
Yeah, I saw that you just got a prize yesterday too. You posted it on social media. It kind of blew up.
Yeah.
A brand new
Yeah,
DVD,
I
huh?
bring it with me here. You're going to have to go check out Practically Magic podcast on Instagram. That's where I posted it. But I got my DVD of the movie Toys we talked about last week was for Wednesday. I can't
So
wait to show my kids.
you've got a physical copy of this movie now. You're gonna have to bring it to the studio tomorrow because we want to see that on film and make sure we're not being Mandela'd or whatever it is or corporate erased. I got to see this. I mean, I know I saw you holding it. That could be AI generated, though. I don't know.
Yeah. And
You might have.
maybe if I had just left it in its plastic, I could have like saved it for years. Maybe it would be worth something. But I really want my kids to see it, so I opened it.
Did you watch it with them? Did they watch Toys?
Not yet.
No,
We're gonna
man.
save it for our movie from our childhood Sunday is our family tradition.
I love that. We should start talking about that because we do the same thing in my house. Like we would just recently watch Labyrinth. I mean, that's a family movie right there. That's a banger
Absolutely.
too. That movie's still a banger. Today, we're not doing Tube Tuesday, but we're doing, what is it, Top Tier Tuesday? I like
Tier Tuesday. That's the. It was going to be that or Trophy Tuesday.
Either
but I
one
wanted
works.
some award winners, award nominated movies we can fit into our schedule here.
And today's is got to be the one movie that was nominated that probably is the only movie that had your heart racing like it had a turbo button. And we're talking about Apple TV Plus's F1, the movie with Brad Pitt, directed by Joseph Kosinski. But this movie is adrenaline, excitement, controlled chaos is what F1 racing appears to be. And I got to tell you that I didn't know all of this stuff about F1 going in to watching this movie. I didn't know all these crazy technology behind the scenes that they're using, and they're driving these cars at 220 miles an hour. Like, it's insane. It's intense. And
to me, the money that's invested into this sport, I mean, I don't know the comparison to other sports. And like I've said before on the podcast, I'm not much of a sports person. So you forgive me if I don't know all of the terminology and everything that goes into it and team names and goal versus touchdown. I don't really know. But racing is one of the things I probably do watch the most because I grew up in Indiana, Indianapolis. So what am I excited for at the end of May?
Indy 500.
Yeah.
Have you been?
We watch it every year.
Have you been?
I have been to the track.
Okay.
My parents have been to the race a few times when we lived there. Doesn't sound super fun. If you like being hot, crowds, everybody getting drunk, the caravans that all park in the center field that stay there for the race. It's kind of like having concerts and keggers and music festival all happening while this really loud race is going on around you. So, I mean, it can be intense from what I hear.
I've always been a fan of racing movies, always since Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
I even worked for NASCAR at one point. I've done a lot of stuff in my career. I worked the NASCAR races for a while. I watched it growing up, and I actually did go to some races. I've been to Talladega, diehard 500. I'm talking about 110 degrees, loudest thing you could ever hear, and you leave there, and your lungs are filled with smoke, and you've got tar, you got rubber all over it. Oh man, it's a hell of an experience. It's fun. But these F1 races, man, I've watched
it's
the
a
live
higher level, I think. I mean, no offense to NASCAR, but being an Indy 500 and an IndyCar fanatic in that realm, I'm kind of like, NASCAR, it's okay, I guess.
We're about to start some controversy. This is going to be the most controversial segment from Parallel Frequencies ever. When you just said that NASCAR does not live up to IndyCar.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that would disagree with that, and that's okay. I don't actually mind being disagreed with. I'm like, I'm just more of a IndyCar person myself. That's
Now,
all
I
I'm
was
saying.
super excited for this F1 movie when I heard about it because I know Apple, and I know they're not going to half-ass anything, and I know that Apple's going to use probably the top-of-the-line technology to make the movies happen. And I remember putting this movie on, and I had it. I was in the bed or something, watching it on a little TV. And 5 minutes in, I'm like, no. I hit stop, and I had to go out and watch it in the theater, in my little home theater, you know. And
Yeah.
I had to have the surround sound. I had to have the big screen. I'm upset that I did not see this movie in an actual theater because I feel like it's one of these that actually brings the theater experience to you. Like this is what theaters was made for. They were made for movies like this. But I don't think you get the same effect watching this thing at home. Just like you don't get the same effect watching an F1 race at home as in person.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What you think from the just very beginning of the movie?
I was so impressed. I mean, I know generally what goes into the teams they put together to race, the investment of the equipment, the cars, everything that they're doing. But I don't know if I knew to this level. I mean, to have the team meeting in these high tech, I don't know, it looked like a NASA control room, and they're all got their headsets on. And I'm like, they put so much into this. The engineer, everybody is top level expert at what they do. So, I mean, you've got to hand it to the pit crew, everybody who's involved. I think the driver gets a lot of the rock star status for it, but everybody on the team that works in these type of races deserves all the credit.
And we see how much of a rock star these guys are. Joshua Pierce in the movie, played by Damson Idris. You see how all these drivers are. They are rock stars and highly recognized in that world. They're making tons of money, as they should. I mean, look what they're doing. You're one crash away from ending it, being done.
Yeah.
And it's
pretty scary.
You're living on the edge. And let's talk about the movie, though, because I mentioned Days of Thunder and other racing movies, but this is not just a racing movie. Let's not get it twisted, because it's more about relevance, legacy, ego, and that quiet fear of becoming forgettable. Formula One, it's not just speed. You know, they had politics involved. There's money. There was brands pretending to be people. And we're watching this movie. We see these cars going 200 miles an hour and all that. But underneath it, we're watching people try not to crash their identity. Brad Pitt, playing Sonny Hayes, pulls up to the scene looking like a real-life Hollywood Benjamin Button, might I add. I think he's aging backwards in real life. I really do. But he's not some young prodigy. He's the veteran. Mm-hmm. The dude who's been around long enough to know every trick and every mistake. And I love how they put him in this movie as being somebody who's kind of been there and done that and won all these races. But he doesn't come into F1 and just kick ass, because that's unrealistic. There's no way that you could come off of these dirt tracks, go in there in an F1 race and just blow them out. No way. No way. But he gets it done. And I think he is one of these people that we see out in real world too. And it's not just celebrities or athletes, but lots of people's. And it's when the world's trying to tell you that you need to retire before you're ready. We're seeing it with LeBron James out there right now, real life athlete, 41 years old. And people thought he should have retired a couple years ago. And the guy's still putting up buckets. Mm-hmm. And I'm 42. I'll just say it. And I'm thinking, man, I was good to get out of bed this morning. And he's out here putting up a triple-double. Let's go. Don't try to tell people they're done before they know it. Yeah. And I think that's a huge theme of this movie. What are you thinking, Coco?
The themes of what it means to be on a team, too. I mean, you've got young Joshua Pierce, you know,
Yeah.
an up and coming, trying to make his name in this business, trying to be like, it's my turn to make a name for myself, to create my legacy, and then feels threatened by Sonny Hayes coming in and being like, I'm going to change up what we're doing. Our strategies are going to be different. And then you've got the strategies themselves that they're using. I mean, Sonny Hayes is a little bit of a daredevil. I mean,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
ready to like push the limits and say, you know, I'm going to ignore some of these other maybe important elements of safety. I heard the phrase, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So, I mean, the strategy of like, do we really stop and make sure we pay attention to the particulars and make sure that those are all right and that we're really working together as a team? And yeah, and then your teammates being, their safety is on your shoulders too. So he learns kind of a valuable lesson on what is it going to mean to work together on this. We're on the same team, but they're acting like rivals.
Yeah.
And they're acting like they're competing with each other. One, you know, wanting to make a name for himself, and the other wanting to prove that he still has what it takes, that he's not irrelevant and too old for this. So they're like, got to figure this out. And their lives are at stake, as we find out. I mean, I love Sarah Niles is in this, Bernadette, playing Joshua's mother. We remember her from Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Shout out Ted Lasso. And she does this. I think the scenes with her are my favorites. I mean, but that's, you know, aside from the racing, that's really exciting and obviously really fun to watch. But I love the scenes where she is stepping forward to be like, I'm a mother and this is my son. And she has that conversation with Sonny, Brad Pitt, and that brings up the real heart and emotion and what's going on beyond and underneath all of these kind of egoic things that are expensive but don't actually matter in the large scheme of life. And it brings that kind of that element to it, I guess.
Let's talk about the cinematography, the visuals. You said it, like, sure, these races, they were fun to watch, but it's not because they're just showing racing. They put us in the cockpit here. The camera angles are so tight.
Special effects were fantastic.
They were, and the camera angles, they were so tight that I swear you could feel the G-force in your chest watching this. And like I said, I had to go put it in the theater and listen to it in Dolby Atmos because the sound design. You could hear the engines roaring in the background, and it really gave the film its heartbeat. The sound design made this movie. I'll say that. It really did. And this is one of those movies that you watch and your body's reacting before your brain does. But that's what F1 really would be for us average people, you know. We wouldn't be able to keep up with the turns and going 200 miles an hour. You know, we're watching this at home, holding our breath in every corner. And that's just a true testament to Apple for going the extra mile and going to the extremes to do this. They put Brad Pitt in real F1 cars, in real F1 races, without other people even knowing it. And that's crazy to me too. He was running real laps at some points to figure this out. And that's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, actors in general having to put themselves through so many different things for roles just to be like, I got to learn to play the drums, and I got to learn to play the drums well enough to make the audience believe I've been playing the drums my whole life. Or now I'm in an F1 movie. I got to figure out how to Formula One race these cars. And
you know what's wild about that is, I'll tell you the reason for why that it happens is, when you're auditioning for roles and you're out there in Hollywood and you're going to audition after audition after audition, you are taught to never say, nope, I don't know how to do that. It doesn't matter what it is. Can you speak Russian? Yep, absolutely. Yep. Can you ride a motorcycle? Absolutely. Can you ride a horse? Yep. And it doesn't matter if you've never even done any of these things. You never said that you can't.
Gotta be able to do it all.
Gotta be able to do it all. And then if you get cast in that role, can you drive an F1 car? Absolutely. Let's go. Brad Pitt never been in an F1 car. you know,
Yeah,
but he
no.
learned it. But that's absolutely
Yeah.
just saying something about the actors, like you said. And let's not forget, Brad Pitt could have really overshadowed everybody in this movie. But you got Javier Bardem playing Ruben, and I think he balances it out. You got Carrie Condon playing Kate McKenna, and that's a powerhouse right there too. So
I love
he
that.
could have been the elephant doing laps around the track, but the balance of the other actors in the movie really helped bring the level of stardom down. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it didn't let him chew up scenery and be this aura in the scene. You know, of course he did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they held
he
their
was
own.
able to fit his ego in the door
Exactly.
as an actor and be able to be generous with the other actors and scenes and let them shine in their parts too. One of my
Yeah.
favorite scenes, again, this is aside from the racing, which was obviously really exciting to watch, but the scene where are they playing poker? I think that's poker. See, this is how little I know about card games. But she becomes, Kate, she becomes like this therapist or this emotional connection person. She's supposed to be the engineer. She's supposed to be working on the car. And she's like, I got to get these two to work together. If we don't have this team, we have nothing. It doesn't matter what we're trying to do here. These two have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And she becomes the one who's like, I'm going to raise to a higher emotional intelligence, use some EQ, and she figures out how to start asking the right questions and how to start getting them to bond while sitting at a table together. And I loved that scene so much.
And Brad Pitt plays Sonny like a man who knows exactly who he is and doesn't need you to agree with him. And I think that this was probably an easy role for Brad Pitt to play because that's probably where he is in real life at this point. It's like a calm arrogance because he earned it. Mm-hmm. It's not loud, not flashy, but dangerous in a quiet way. You ever notice how the loudest people are usually the ones not doing a damn thing? You know, and he's not really loud in this, and he's doing a lot behind the scenes. He's doing a lot on the track. He's not winning races. He's not the star, but he's making a lot happen when they finally do decide to become a team. And that's real life. That's kind of how it works. You know, when you're working together, you will get further. I've said it before, people at the bottom compete and people at the top collaborate. And I truly believe that. You know, like when did you first hear me say that? Years ago?
Probably the first time I met you at a networking meeting. You know, we were in the community, people getting together who are all starting new projects, new businesses, new, whatever we were trying to do. And that was the kind of community I wanted to be a part of is, we're all trying to make something of ourselves. We all have a goal in mind. We all have something that, we'd like to maybe make money doing what we love to do instead of working for somebody else and making sure they make all of our money.
Yeah.
But we were, all sitting there with the same values in mind. And we were like, I don't want to compete. If somebody else does the exact same work that I do, we're still different enough that there's enough for everybody. There's enough. If somebody else had another podcast network that they were starting too, there's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody. And there's no reason to think that we have to best each other.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to battle. Yeah. You can come together and you can help one another. And that's really what I could see this being on a whole grander level with this partnership between F1 and Apple, because F1 as a sport, it's been trying to break into the American culture for a long time. NASCAR has been the dominant American racing. This movie, to me, it helped show more diversity, more accessibility, more storytelling. Like, come on, like this is really what's going on behind the scenes in F1. Like, I want to be a part of that, And I think Apple did a really good job at making this movie show real inclusion Or were they just better at marketing? You know, like which way? But I think they did a great job of the inclusion. But there will be people that say, oh, this was just a marketing stunt. They put this movie out just to, you know, whatever. But I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we see it. I think we do get the easier to access. We get to see more diversity, you know, and I love that. What do you think about that, Coco? Because I know you do watch racing. Are you going to watch F1 races on Apple now? Have you checked any out yet?
Haven't, but I mean, that would be something that I would get into if I had the time. Sit down with my kids and as a family, like, this is what we're going to do together. We're going to get snacks and we're going to, you know, pick our drivers. That's what my kids love to do for the Indy 500 every year is we don't follow these drivers enough to know them really well. But we remember when they come back every year, we're like, oh, Scott Dixon, that's my guy.
There you go.
You know, we got, what's his name? Power. Will Power.
Yeah.
I'll never remember
Look
that.
at you.
I'll never forget that. But yeah, we pick our drivers and when then we're really cheering for somebody for the whole race. And then you can see the disappointment when they crash or they're out of the race for some reason, or they, you know, have an extra slow pit stop. We care and we're invested and we're involved. And we get more like that than we do with probably any other sport. I don't think we have a personal or emotional investment in anything else. I mean, we will watch sports, but we'll be like, I don't know, the ones with the blue uniforms look like they're fun today. I'll cheer for them. You know, that's kind of where my family's at. I know the freaks are going to come after me for not being a sports person, but that's just where I'm at. That's just who I am.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. And some of the freaks aren't going to be sports people, and some of them are, and that's okay. I have sat down and watched some F1 on Apple, and I got to tell you, your kids, they'd love it. Your kids would love it.
It's blast.
Fully interactive, iPhones, iPad, whatever you're watching on TV. It'll show you where the drivers are, how fast they're going. You can watch split screens. It's got all of it going. You can watch any driver you want.
From the car. Oh, so fun.
They've got it even where you can watch who's in first place. And if first place changes, it'll change the camera view for you to who's in first at all the time. Who's in second, who's in third. You can watch all these different angles. It's wild. Let me ask you, before we get out of here, let me ask you this. And this goes back to the movie and Brad Pitt and being this, you know, older guy. Do you think people deserve a second run at greatness? Or is there a point where you got to let that next generation take the wheel? What do you think?
I think it absolutely depends on the person themselves and what they feel like they are ready to do. I mean, I think that there's a lot of, you know, trading players in football or in things like that when it's like, okay, we've got to like put together our team hoping that it's going to eventually win. But I would say aside from Sonny, the question of whether or not it's time for him to retire, is his life what he wants it to be? And I love that they show that at the very end, he's offered something that could launch his career in another way. Like, you could take Ruben's place. You could take this, you know, we want you to, I don't even know what the title is, manage a team or something like that. But for Sonny, the thing that's important is not the title or the money or the salary he's going to get, or even like his connection to F1. It's, I just want to keep racing. Mm-hmm. Like, I want my life to look like this. And that might mean going to, where does he end up, in Mexico? And he's just doing like for pennies on the dollar. He's like, I'll just take a race here and I'll just do what is fun to me. And that shows like where his values actually lie.
And that, I'm going to get personal for a minute, because that's what I'm at. And I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking about my own life, my own career. Mm-hmm. You know, you look at the trajectory of my career, and if you look at what I'm doing right now, you might think, oh, he's on the downward slope. He's already been to the top. Now he's just sitting in his studio in his basement making shows about movies, but he's been in Hollywood and done all this. But no, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm trying to re-enter my prime or anything. I know there's more left. I don't think I've peaked yet. And a lot of people feel that way in their careers. And I think that's the real lesson right here. You don't have to be the fastest anymore. You don't have to be the top of the top anymore. You just got to be intentional with what you're doing. And that's where Brad Pitt, that's where Sonny Hayes, that's what he's doing. He's being intentional. And he knows what he wants. He knows what he's capable of. That's how I kind of reflected with this movie. I know what I'm still capable of. Could I go back to Hollywood right now and do all that again? Yeah. Probably bigger and better because like Sonny Hayes, I have learned the mistakes and I have learned what works. So,
yeah.
But we're not afraid to go back to the bottom and start building ourselves up again either. I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun. What's your final thoughts on F1 if you haven't already given them?
I'd like to think that I would have made a really good driver, but probably not. That's right.
I want to know from the freaks, have you been in this situation where you know you got more left in the tank, but somebody's trying to tell you, no, thank you for your service. You're great. You've done good.
Yeah.
Because I think we've all been there when we know. I've always said that the only person that truly knows yourself is yourself. And nobody else can tell you it's time to retire. LeBron James, they can't tell him it's time to retire. They can't. And he's going to still play because he knows what his body's capable of. And I think you just got to listen to that. You got to listen to what's telling you inside of you that you can do that. You can do whatever somebody's telling you can't do. And I wanted to know from the freaks. Do you have more left in the tank and somebody's told you that you can't? Are you in that season right now? Tell us in the comments because we like to have those conversations. We want to talk to the freaks out there and find out what's going on.
Yeah, you only get this one wild and precious life. And so why waste it doing, being placed in the back burner or being placed in stick you in a cubicle until you retire.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that you feel passionate about. What is it that drives you to get up every day and with enthusiasm want to face that day and do what you love?
Only thing I can say before we get out of here to leave the freaks with is just remember, what would Iggy do? Just think about it like that. What would Iggy do? The man was 78 years old and went and rocked Coachella, okay?
He's still rocking it.
That is this episode of Parallel Frequencies. I am Just Blane. That is Coco. You are the freaks, and we will see you on the other side.